Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. I am still cracking out 2 videos a day in order to cover my absence at Gamescom this weekend, where on Saturday I'm going to be streaming World of Warships live from the Gamescom stage. What could possibly go wrong there? And I have no doubt that at some point Wargaming are going to want to have me do the dancing monkey routine on the main stage in order to entertain the audience, as well as shower them with lucky bags and free t-shirts. So yeah, it's going to be fun, and I'm sure nothing whatsoever is going to go wrong. In the meantime, today we have another World of Warships compilation for you. Now, for our first battle, you're going to have to bear with me while I explain it, because it does have the potential to be slightly confusing. This is Nuremberg in the Alsace, but this particular battle isn't about him. He's divisioned up with a Yugomo who goes by the name of Maiko. It's this guy over there. There he is. This replay was actually sent to me by that guy, but that guy doesn't have replays enabled, so he wasn't actually able to capture his moment of glory. However, his division mate, Nuremberg here in the Alsace, did. And so Maiko has sent me Nuremberg's replay in order to show what Maiko achieved in this battle. You with me? Yeah? Okay, good. So we are actually watching the battle from Nuremberg's perspective in the Alsace, but it's not actually about him, it's about Maiko over there in the Yugomo. Nuremberg just happened to have replays enabled, which is why I'm actually using the external camera here and keeping track of what Maiko in the Yugomo is doing, rather than you getting to see this battle from Nuremberg's perspective, because it's what the Yugomo is going to do that's important. Now, the Yugomo, Japanese Tier 9 destroyer, although when the next patch for World of Warships hits, it won't be the only Japanese Tier 9 destroyer. We're also going to see a pair of Japanese gunboat destroyers progressing on from the Akazuki, and there will be another Tier 9, the Kitakaze, but the Kitakaze is a gunboat. The Yugomo, not so much. It's your traditional Japanese stealthy torpedo monster. Although the guns on the Yugomo aren't that bad. In fact, they're pretty good by Japanese standards. They're just not that good compared to, well, everybody else. What the Yugomo excels at is launching torpedoes, and the Yugomo has a tool available to make it even better at launching torpedoes at the cost of some utility. The Yugomo can equip a torpedo reload booster. However, that comes at the expense of a smoke generator, which is why Maiko is keeping an extremely wide berth there, rather than rushing into the epicenter to contest the caps. Back to Norrablade for the moment, however. An Alsace against a Frederick the Great at that kind of range, your money has to be on the Alsace. However, the Frederick the Great is not alone. There are a bunch of cruisers with him, and it's the Chapayev in particular, thanks to the relatively poor deck armour of French battleships, that Chapayev is going to be able to inflict a lot of damage. And Norrablade has realised the potential trouble that he's in here, but at the same time, if he turns away, he's going to get broadside to the Frederick the Great. And the Frederick the Great really only has to get lucky once to inflict substantial amounts of damage of his own. Meanwhile, Maiko has launched his first set of torpedoes into that huge cluster of enemy battleships and cruisers. Oh, and there's a big hit from the Frederick the Great. I think it might be safe for you to start turning around now, Norrablade. The Frederick the Great has fired his guns. The fire's burned out from the Chapayev, but he's lost over half of his health. But it's the torpedoes from Maiko. Watch this. Look at that. You couldn't ask for a better torpedo target. A huge cluster of enemy battleships and cruisers all packed into the same small area of ocean real estate. You could fire torpedoes into that lot and be guaranteed of hitting something, and he is hitting something. And of course, presented with a target like that, he's already used his torpedo reload booster, and the second salvos of torpedoes are also on the way. Look at the carnage that he's inflicting over there. Oh, it's just beautiful. So many ships, not enough torpedoes. This game is barely 2 minutes old. Maiko's already done 200,000 damage. In fact, at this precise point, Maiko was laughing so hard that he had paid no attention whatsoever to the very angry Miyoko, who was charging his position. And of course, because he has a torpedo reload booster, he doesn't have a smokescreen. And the Miyoko is not alone. There is also an equally angry Fletcher over there, furious at the loss of his teammates, who's also charging Maiko down. Now, under the circumstances, Maiko's best option would probably have been to stop shooting and just get the hell out of there and attempt to re-stealth up. But he doesn't, and that is going to seal his fate. He is in fact going to be the first ship on his team sunk. But the Miyoko's tunnel visioning on Maiko is going to cost him big time, because he's broadsiding the Alsace, and the Alsace's guns are pretty accurate by battleship standards. 2 citadels, that was a fairly comprehensive paddling. If Norblade can do that again, it's just a question of how much the Miyoko is tunnel visioning and how desperate he is to finish off Maiko. He's probably not going to take much more in the way of finishing off. And it's not a complete broadside that Miyoko is showing to Norblaide's Alsace, but it's good enough. Shots out. We have an ex-Miyoko, another 2 citadels. Now the Miyoko did have shots in the air and he did finish Maiko off, so there's a consolation prize of the Flesh Wound Award for the Miyoko. And Maiko is the first ship on his team to be sunk. But despite that, he did so much damage, nearly 200,000 in the opening minutes of this battle, that he still finished top of the team, by far, on both damage done and experience earned. So what do we have next? How do you follow that? Well, good question. Glad you asked. I'm going to tell you. This is Jacob himself, in the Tier 9 German battleship, the Frederick the Great, or as I like to call it, Fat Freddy, because I can. And you never know, if I repeat it often enough, it might stick. He's in a Tier 10 battle, but, well, none of that's really important. In our previous battle, we saw what happens if a whole bunch of ships cluster together and there's a torpedo launcher nearby. But what happens if there are a whole bunch of ships clustered together and there isn't a torpedo launcher nearby, but there's a German battleship with really, really big guns, even if it can't see those targets? You see, the thing about light cruisers in World of Warships, particularly light cruisers that aren't British, like that Neptune over there, that don't have their own smokescreen generators, is that they do tend to all like to seek shelter in the safety of any available nearby smokescreens, like the one that the Neptune has just laid. So we can't actually see what's inside that smokescreen, but it's a fairly safe bet that there's something in it because there are shots coming out of it. There are shots going into it as well. Shots that are scoring citadels. Oh look, more light cruisers. Just exactly how many light cruisers do you think are trying to seek shelter and safety within the deceptive security blanket of the Neptune's smokescreen? Now I don't know for sure, but judging by the fact that he's scoring citadels every time he unloads his guns in the general direction of the Neptune, I think the answer to that question might be all of them. And I think the Neptune's probably getting very, very pissed off. And telling the rest of his team, look, will you bugger off? This is my smokescreen. Stop attracting fire. 3 citadels, 2 salvos. Can we go 3 for 3? Yes, we can. He seems to have upset them. Well, he's obviously going to continue going to get out of line of fire, but before we depart, we are going to get 1 4th and final salvo. Can we get more citadels? Shots out, results are in, and our panel says, hell yes we can. Smoke screens, they're not just torpedo magnets. Next up, we have Benser in the American Tier 10 cruiser, heavy cruiser, the Des Moines. He's not the only Des Moines in this battle. He's not the only cruiser in this battle. In fact, that is a metric shit ton of both cruisers and radar cruisers. The destroyers in this game must be feeling pretty bloody nervous. Now, we've all seen those battles on YouTube where a Des Moines, with its auto-loading 203mm guns, which can fire every 5 seconds, or faster, depending on whether or not the captain has taken adrenaline rush, and most Des Moines captains take adrenaline rush, and whether or not they're fitting the reload modification in mod slot 6, where they get a target at the perfect range and angle to score multiple citadels every time they pull the trigger. And so, inspired by this, we go out and try to do it ourselves, but it never really seems to work. We get the perfect target at the perfect range and the perfect angle, but we've got the high explosive loaded. And by the time we switch ammunition types to armor piercing, the target, realizing the shit that they're in, has angled away enough that all of the armor piercing bounces. And yet we still keep going out there, and we still keep trying to get the perfect game in the Des Moines. And usually, we keep ending up being disappointed. That ain't going to happen today. Today, at least as far as Bemsa is concerned, the stars, moons and planets were all in the perfect alignment, and thanks to some quick thinking on his behalf, he's about to have the kind of game that by the time it makes it onto YouTube is going to be responsible for making lots of people grind their way down the American heavy cruiser line. So, plenty of targets available, and he should be able to steal a kill here. But of course, that's a very, very low health enemy cruiser, and so there was absolutely nothing spectacular about that. He switched to the high explosive. He's attempting to finish off the Z-52, scores some hits, but there's another Des Moines coming around the corner. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Is this guy going to broadside? Is this the moment you're talking about, Jingles? No, it's not. You see, this is the part where I said, thanks to some very quick thinking on Bemsa's behalf, he's about to have the kind of monster game that most Des Moines captains lie awake at night, just dreaming of. This Des Moines knows what he's up to. He knows exactly how much damage he can take if he shows a broadside, so he's closing in, and he's staying angled. Now this is where Bemsa makes the quick decision. This enemy Des Moines is so close now he can't actually depress his guns far enough to score citadel hits, so he doesn't even try. Instead, he powers up the engines, cruises on by, and leaves that guy in the Des Moines to the rest of his team, because there are far more juicy targets waiting around the corner. Oh, this is going to be glorious.
So beautiful.
That gets me right in the feels, man. And I know it does you as well. Go on, admit it. You can cry. We're all friends here. Nobody's going to judge you. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, take care. And I'll catch you next time.